Hello everyone, and welcome back to another GT scale modelling video. First thing you'll notice is the different camera angle. I finally kind of discovered that there's a shelf right above where I work, and that actually my phone sits on it quite nicely, and I can get a top-down view of my work area. So hopefully this will be something a bit different, and will be able to allow me to show you some stuff better than I could before, so we'll give it a go. So what you can see on the bench just now is the kit I'm working on just now, and this is my entry, if you like, into the Pricks of Plastic Leopard group build. Just before the group build was announced, I had actually just completed a Leopard 2 and didn't have any intention of doing another one, but I thought it'd be good to join in, so I decided to pick up the Hobby Boss Strv 122, which is the Swedish tank, which is a domestically, I don't know if the entire thing is domestically built or if they're domestically converted, or they're converted by Kraus Mayfi, the company who make the Leopard 2 in Germany, whether they're converted by them for Sweden with domestically produced Swedish kind of conversion kits, if you like. I'm not entirely sure, I can't remember. However, they are essentially Leopard 2s. With, I believe they've got Swedish specific radios and things and some other bits and bobs. The main difference you might notice is around the turret top here, around the cupolas. Instead of being the circular flip back ones as on the German version, they are kind of straight edged with a round front, and they slide back this way into these housings here. These bits I'm not entirely convinced are particularly accurate. I actually think that these solid plastic bits here represent like a soft cover. If you look at pictures of them, there isn't this hard kind of solid thing here, it's more some kind of soft covering, possibly flips over as a kind of a rain cover or something. I'm not entirely sure. The main commander's site has this kind of tabletop thing on top of it as well, and I guess to incorporate the thickness of this without it flipping open, this entire top section here is built up and thicker, so that looks quite cool. The storage bins on the back are different, and the smoke launchers are French. They are Galix, I believe, made by a French company. So they're all kind of in these little housings. I believe there's some differences on the hull around this area here, which is possibly the auxiliary power unit thing. I think that's quite a common thing to be different in the different variants of different nationalities. They also have the armour package that includes the big bolt-on armour on the front of the hull here, as well as the bit between the front fenders, which bulks out the front of the hull quite nicely. It looks, and different headlights. They look quite cool. Other than that, it's more or less the same, I believe. Could be wrong, could be other differences. Other thing, obviously, as you'll see, sorry, just checking the camera's still recording because I can't quite see the screen, is the camo scheme. So they use this splinter camo. I don't know if you've ever seen, some of you, if you are Swedish, obviously you'll know already. If you're not, the Swedish Army use I believe it's M90 pattern, I think it's called, and it's a hard-edged splinter camo, and they use that on their vehicles as well, as 3-tone. According to the painting guide for this, is the Hobby Boss kit. The dark green and the black are NATO green and NATO black within a light green. I had NATO green, I had NATO black, so that's fine, but I had to mix this because I didn't have a light green. Excuse me. I'm still not convinced that it's the right shade, but it looks okay. But I will be through weathering and stuff, trying to tone it down somewhat. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. I do have some oils and stuff, so maybe I'll try kind of some filtering with that, but I don't know how to make it darker but still quite clearly a green shade. I'm not entirely sure, but that's something that's needing kind of done. So anyway, as you can see, it's had its base colours painted. It had a gloss coat. There's these very few marking decals here, which are a bit rubbish, but they're there now. There's a number plate, there's a registration number on the front, on the rear, and that's it. There was decals for yellow stripes down the back of here, but they were never going to conform to the grille. And you got decals for the white bits on the, if I remember rightly, I think this is a convoy marker thing of some kind. But I hand painted those. I may still mask and paint the yellow stripes on there, or I might just leave them. So, as you can see, there's also 4 aerials on this, which are quite cool, although I keep breaking them off, but they're just straight sprue, so they flex around quite a bit. What else to say about the kit? Oh, I used the RB Models metal barrel, which was very nice. The resin canvas recoil sleeve is actually hidden on this variant because of the extra armour on the front here. If you did a 284 with a slab sided front, you would probably see it better, but so it's nice, better than the plastic version in the kit. The wheels are just up here. Left this out of the way. Wheels are here. They've had a matte coat and a wash. I've already done some kind of rusting along the edge on this outer ring of the drive sprocket based on a walk around picture I saw. The middle was quite clearly still green. This outer ring was quite corroded. It's just all surface rust. It's just basically where the paint's obviously worn off with the tracks and dirt and stuff that grinds up through the sprocket, with the actual teeth being kind of bare. Clean metal in this ring obviously must gather a lot of dirt and water and things, and once the paint's worn away, that must just surface rust up quite good. So when I'm at the point of doing pigments and things, I will probably do a little bit of rust pigments on there just to give it a kind of nice wee rusty effect. It'd be a nice wee kind of colour variation. That's just the side skirts. So the other thing is the tracks in this kit are Hobby Boss vinyl tracks, and they're a bit rubbish. So I have a set of Bronco. I glued itself together. Bronco workable tracks. That's the only bit I've done so far. They're quite easy to clean up. They're not too bad. There's no jig, which is a little bit annoying because it kind of means you've got to build them upside down so that you can place them straight. But yeah, they'll look quite good, I think. I will do a full run even though you can't see the top run due to the side skirts, just because they are flexible. Although I'm not sure how, but it also means I can connect them and leave an unpainted link as a connection point and just run that up around the top, so that's fine. So that's that. So next things to do is this has just had a matte coat using AK's Ultra Matte Varnish. This was after giving it it was painted with Vallejo Natal Black, Vallejo Field Green actually, Vallejo Mud Layer Field Green, but the only native green I've got is the Vallejo Primer, which I don't want to use anymore, so the Field Green was quite close to it. It's maybe a wee touch bright, but I don't know, it stands out. I have to do some pretty heavy dusting and stuff, tone all those down. And as I said, the light green was kind of a random mix of field green, drops of black, drops of yellow, and drops of what's it called? Drops of model colour, green sky, that kind of colour, like the inside of a Bradley kind of colour. And it had an empty pot, and I'd mixed up a whole lot of it, which I didn't really need. So I thought instead of wasting it in case I need it again, I'll stick it in this. Just an empty Mr. Hobby pot, which I cleaned out. So yeah, used some of these. Don't know if you'll see these. Let's see if they're. Oh, yeah, you can see those. So these are Winsor & Newton Griffin Alkyd oils. I wasn't sure what to get. I thought I'd get some proper oils, so I bought a set of these a while ago. Means I can mix up my own washes depending on the tone of the vehicle, because the only kind of enamel wash that it had for doing pin washes and stuff was actually fairly black, which sometimes it's just too dark. You don't want anything that's dark. So sometimes green I find, like a dark brown's a little bit better. It's a little bit warmer. Is that the right word? Not really good. Anyway, it seems to work better. So a bit of black, a bit of burnt umber, mix them together. They dry quite well because they're fast drying oils, which is quite good. The only problem I found is that actually you can't then leave the wash on kind of overnight and then come back to it, even on a gloss surface, and hope to get it all off. It does dry. It doesn't dry that quick, but I mean, if you leave it even overnight before you do your tidy up, you'll struggle to get it off. But the advantage is it doesn't take that long to dry enough that you can remove the excess, so it makes the whole process a little bit quicker. You don't need to wait that day or whatever for before your washes are dry, that you can do your tidy up without just removing what you've put on, so that's quite good. I did end up making a bit of a filter actually, accidentally. You might not see this because it's black under here, but I'd mixed up green and black and got a kind of darkish green, but I put way too much thinner in it. I was going to use it as a wash, but actually it's quite thin and it works quite well as a filter, so I might give that a go and see if that will help tone this down a little bit before I go too far. I have just started to do some chipping and stuff, but maybe before I go too far I'll give that a go. I gave it a go on some of the side skirts when it was gloss, but I'm not sure if it works so well on the gloss. Now it's matte, I might see how it might just grab that a little bit better and work. We'll see. I don't know if you see this little white spot here is actually because the mirrors are off. They're just there. I keep knocking them off, so I just took them off. I'll glue them back on at the end. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get some baking foil and make the actual reflective surfaces. It'd be easier to do them as they're as separate bits anyway. So that's about that really. Yeah, just thought I'd update you on this. I'll maybe try and do an update during the weathering process, see how that's going. And then once that's finished, I'll get a final reveal up. I did finish my Trumter Type 87 SP AAG, the anti-aircraft gun. So I've got a final review video to film or put together for that anyway, so hopefully I'll get that done soonish. That's about it really. Let me know what you think of this camera angle, if this works, if things were in shot, if things were in focus. If not, then I'll have to do something about keeping a better eye on that, but hopefully this is a little bit better and at least it's stable so things are not wobbling around. And it means I can use the front camera, the main camera on my phone, which is much better quality than the front camera I use if I'm doing face to camera stuff. So yeah, some feedback on that would be good. Let me know what you think about this. I'm quite pleased so far. Still not 100% on the colour choice, but I'm pleased with the hard edge camel that was done with just Tamiya masking tape, lots and lots of Tamiya masking tape. I'm quite pleased with it. I think it's different, it's unique. And whether the colours are right or wrong, I think once it's finished and on the shelf, it'll look pretty good, nice and quite striking. So yeah, so let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.